Hi, it's Chris Rivers. I'm so glad you're joining me today to really try to understand a little bit more about what systems make up our society today and how do we understand them so we can help lead the change. Today's video is going to be a little bit differently. Really like the videos where we can respond to people's questions, but I think we're far enough along into this journey where you probably want to understand a little bit more about who I am and why am I here? Why should you listen to me? I think those are all fair questions. So first, the question is why should you even listen to me? Well, I am not here to really be a lecturer. I'm not here to try to make anyone feel less than or whatnot. I'm really here to try to empower people. And why is that? I am someone who grew up in a lower income family. My family very much lived paycheck to paycheck, and not every week, the math just didn't always work out. I understand what it's like to economically struggle. I always knew I just wanted to help people. That led me to becoming a EMT or emergency medical technician when I was younger. That led me to enlisting in the Army after 9/11, went and deployed to Operation Iraqi Freedom 3, took my SATs in Kuwait, spent some time up in Iraq, got into West Point, and left Iraq early to go to West Point. At West Point, I studied physics and nuclear engineering, also graduated with honors, and became commissioned Army officer as an engineer officer. From there, my Army career took me all over the country, and I led over 100 combat missions in Afghanistan, doing a lot of combat engineering work. It was in Afghanistan where we're a couple days into a 30-day long mission. One of my trucks got blown up and my soldiers got medevac. They all survived. But it was there where my soldiers started asking me, why are we still here 10 years later? I mean, that was 2011, 2012 timeframe, a decade after 9/11. And it was there in the hillsides of Afghanistan that I didn't know enough about how our own government worked and how our countries are supposed to work together to understand the genuine answers I wanted to be able to give them. And I decided right there in Afghanistan that I was going to spend some time in my career to go study it. So the Army ended up bringing me to DC. I became a data scientist for the Army and the Pentagon, but ultimately decided to leave active duty military service so I can go to graduate school on my own terms. And I went and got a master's in public policy and another master's in foreign service, or what's really the rest of the world would call international relations. Both of those I earned at Georgetown University down in Washington, D.C. And I also got a front row seat on how our foreign policy works. I got to go work at the Department of State, where I managed a lot of our science and technology relationships for all the countries in North and South America. I got to see a change of administrations. I served in the Army under George W. Bush and Barack Obama. I served in the Department of State under both Barack Obama and the first part of President Trump's first term. I saw how these different leaders had trickled down effects within the bureaucracy of how things were being handled. I also got a world-class education, both from my West Point experience and data science experience in the Army, and from the policy and international relations diplomacy side at Georgetown in the State Department. I really started this journey to just try to better understand how our government worked. I really wanted to understand how it's supposed to work and how it really does work. And I've never stopped that journey from that grad school experience. I've read a ton of books. I've also volunteered on the front lines of our democracy, where I've run for the state legislature in the state I live in, which is Connecticut, as a Democrat in an area that is very Republican heavy. And I've knocked on thousands of doors in my 2 state level races. I've also won a seat on our local Connecticut Board of Education. This channel is going to focus more about the federal side, but I'm not here to just dictate to the entire audience how it should be. What I really want to do, because when I was running for state office, the thing that most people were really frustrated by is they know deep down it's not working. The economic system, the political power system, the sense of what does it mean to be American just isn't working, and it feels really yucky. But most people are also working too hard all day, every day, to really be able to take the time to pull the curtain back, to understand how these systems are designed to work, how they're supposed to work, how they actually work. And when I started pulling the curtain back, it was amazing how many people across political lines were really receptive to actually understanding how it's really all going down. And when I look out at the social media landscape, to include YouTube, there are plenty of really amazing content creators who are covering the day-to-day. Whether you like him or not, President Trump is one of the most entertaining presidents ever. I feel like if you want that sort of content, it is there for you. What I think that we really need to focus on, and I'm trying to make it as approachable as possible, is the sort of things that we're too afraid to ask. How is this stuff really supposed to work? We hear the Democrats and Republicans and national leaders blaming each other all the time, nonstop. I think part of the reason why this happens, why we have a political system that isn't focused on actually solving problems and more focused on throwing labels at each other, because a lot of Americans don't understand it, and we shouldn't be blaming ourselves for it. But I think we have the responsibility for educating ourselves now so that we can be more active participants and better citizens. I'm still very much on this journey, and I hope that you want to join this journey with me. And what I'm hoping for from everyone watching this is that you'll participate, that you'll ask questions. This is a judgment-free zone as much as we can possibly have. Ask the questions and we will try to get you the best answers from everything I understand. Also, I'm going to try really hard to separate the fact from my own personal opinion. When it's fact and data driven, I will show you the source on the graphics that I'm using, where that data is coming from. When I'm coming to conclusions and opinions, I will try to highlight what those are. I think that's how we create a political movement and an educational movement where people can start to feel empowered. Why do we need people to feel empowered? Our system needs it. Our system of politics is built for people to participate. Yet we have so many people that don't understand what it's like to be on the other side. We have a lot of people who are currently in politics right now as elected officials who never understood what it was like to live paycheck to paycheck. We have a lot of people who live paycheck to paycheck, and that's all they've ever known. And you can't imagine sitting down and imagining a new way for an economic system to work. Wherever you are on that scale, it's okay. I have lived from the very paycheck to paycheck sort of mindset of not always knowing where I was going to live, all the way up to where we're decently well off, have studied things like the stock market and how it really works, and understand the jargon that we can break down for people, and understand the political systems and economic systems. I have gotten to live it all, and I'm very grateful for that. And what I'm trying to do here on YouTube is create a community where we can ask questions. We can dive in to really understand, pull apart these systems, not actively pull them apart, but pull them apart so we can understand what's going on under the hood. Then each and every member of this community can decide for themselves, what do they want to do with it? If some want to say, hey, I want to get involved and run for office, awesome. We can certainly make more content about what it's like to really get involved and run for office. If we have people that just feel empowered to ask questions of their own relatives so the next Thanksgiving meal isn't so abrasive, great. That's amazing. If we have people that are on this channel just consuming it and just understanding a little bit better why we are in the situation we're in, that's also success. This YouTube channel is really meant to build a community. We want engagement. So with that, please feel free to like, subscribe, comment below for each and every one of our videos. Always feel free to add comments to it, particularly about what other questions you have. We know we're trying to make these videos short enough so they aren't a bear or a burden on people to watch, but interesting enough so they should leave you with an insight to really ponder more. So if you get to the end of the video and you're wondering why I didn't cover something, tell me below. If you get to the end of the video and want to know something else, comment below. This is really about building a community to empower people. It is not about a particular political stance or political bias. I will try to be clear with what mine are. It is really about empowering you so that you can make up your own mind and help be a part of whatever comes next, because I think we can all do a lot better. If you haven't yet, please click like on this video, drop a comment below, and click that subscribe button. It'll help the YouTube algorithm make sure that these videos are getting into your feed. Thank you.